uncle.
Clearly, he's the crazy uncle. Well, they'll call him daddy.
Uncle packs a Mac.
Should first ask later.
New Jersey father arrested for storming into classroom. So the story goes as follows. An angry dad has been arrested after he stormed into a high school classroom and confronted a student who he accused of H. Singh, his daughter. Aaron, 38, burst into the class near Philadelphia on Monday morning. The father from nearby Gibbstown arrived at the school at 11:30 a.m. to pull his daughter out of the class, but then decided to confront the other student. The video recorded by another student showed Thomas confronted the student and demanded that he apologize to his daughter, who was near the door. You got a problem with my daughter? Apologize to my daughter, he demanded. The teenager repeatedly protested that he did nothing to her as Thomas towered over him. You've heard what the F I said. Apologize to my daughter now. The boy said that the teenage girl had pictures of me and my mama, but it was unclear what the photos were and what exactly was he was accusing her of doing. An affidavit of probable cause only explained that the teenage girl was having problems with another student over photos that were shared. No further details about the nature of the photos was released. The question is, was the daughter set up by the was the father set up by the daughter? Did she tell him half of the story and he came to her rescue?
Well, I don't know, but I do know that it is a pattern, right? It's a pattern that um, women get men into trouble by calling, for backup. Basically, calling for backup. Now, on the one hand, I think that it's like double,
It's
because on
double.
the other hand, as a parent,
You don't want this.
especially of a daughter, you will step up. So I guess a stepping up is one thing, and whether the daughter told the whole story, that's another thing.
Yeah.
I think in some instances, it can definitely warrant a parent walking to a kid and say, "Hey, you know what? Stop doing this to my daughter," because the kid needs to know that no jokes
You
will
have
be
to
played
back.
with. Yeah, no jokes will be played by my daughter. But for every legitimate cases, there are also illegitimate cases, because we know a lot of stories. You and I, we've discussed them on this platform as well, KR,
Yeah.
where a female will call his brother or his
Oh,
boyfriend, and the
you
I
did
mean,
cover that very long time ago, right?
yeah, well, a year
Yes.
ago, a year and something ago, yeah,
Yeah, that's a
and
long time ago. In
yeah, okay,
That's
yeah,
like
okay,
how about we're now at episode 142? That's like episode 10 or something like that.
maybe I can't recall,
Yeah.
but in any case,
But yeah, I do agree with you. I do agree with you on this point, right? You need to sometimes you gotta jump out of the bridge for your daughter. Even though you don't know what happened, you can always you have to show first of all you gotta show restraint because you get locked up like this.
definitely it's a minor at the end of the day that you're
Yeah, you're
you're you're approaching and threatening. Yeah,
Yeah, so you have to be very careful how you approach these topics, but you have to have your daughter's back or your
yeah,
kids back, whether it's a daughter or a son. You have to have their back,
yeah.
and you can always figure out what really happened. I mean, you go and sit and try to figure out the story with the other kid in that case in the future. But this is the wrong way to do it. But you have to do it sometimes depending on the situation because we also saw the other story of the 15-year-old girl who got her head caved in on the pavement earlier last week, resulting in her having a brain damage. and the other kid, which is both are females, by the way, is probably going to get charged as an adult. Now the person who's a victim has probably forever brain damage, and now you're gonna get locked up.
Yeah.
So the bullying, you have to stand up for your kids when you are aware of people bullying them, because it can result in self deletion, uh or the kids running up in the school and giving people one-way tickets to a Tupac
Valhalla. Valhalla.
to a
Yeah.
Tupac concert, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing, right? Um, Nowadays, you don't know who's carrying and who's not,
Yeah.
or maybe who's the person's father or
Oh,
brother
yeah, that is
or
true.
cousin.
That is true.
Because another thing I'll tell you, when things like this happen, it's not uncommon. I don't know if it's common, but it's definitely not unheard of that the person will call a cousin or the uncle who they never talk to, who they always say stay away from him because
The crazy uncle.
he's the crazy uncle. Well, they'll call him daddy.
Uncle packs a Mac.
Should first, ask later. And so that's always a risk. There was this case, KR, and I think we talked about it. I think you shared it with me actually, about a man in, it was a lawyer, I guess, at a fast food restaurant in Mexico. And he was arguing with a guy that was behind the counter. At one point, he entered into the door, started hitting the guy in the face, just like hitting again and again and again and again and again. And then the guy was like just on the table, just lying. So he was standing up. What I'm gonna say, the way I'm gonna describe it's not meant to be a joke, but it's just how it was. One part of his body, the lower part of his body was standing up. The the upper part of his body was laying down on the table. And the dude kept punching, 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 and hitting and so. The guy was a lawyer, and he did it. It was definitely overboard. He went. It was after after he got three, and he was done. But he kept on hitting. I think he must have gotten 20 in or something. 20, 25. 8 months later, the guy gets popped.
Yeah.
You can be a lawyer, but and you can be stronger, but those things don't matter right now.
You know, it might fight back. The I was referring to Slowpoke Rodriguez. I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
I'll show you after the show. I think it's
Oh, yeah.
probably copyrighted, so I cannot show it.
Okay, cool.
But it's a very Slowpoke always carries a gun.